Yeah, kid. Welcome everybody back to another episode of Smells Like Cappy with Handsome. I'm your host, Charles Weinraub, aka the Handsome Homebuyer, aka Captain Permit, aka.
I thought we were killing Captain Permit.
All right. So, speaking of Captain Permit, obviously, everyone has to know. At least I know, and it's a nightmare. You probably know also. The towns are a fucking nightmare, bro.
It's tough to deal with. Good thing you got Captain Homebuyer, Captain Permit here. He'll help you out, get it done. Come on.
Fucking nightmare. 516-513-8838. Quick tip for everybody out there if you're working in the town of Brookhaven. If you have boards on your house, when you buy it, the town has condemned it. I know it doesn't mean they have to knock it down, but the town has condemned it, which means you need full plans on the entire thing. It's an absolute nightmare. It's going to take forever. So just keep that in mind when you're putting offers in on these things. And if you're going to do it, make sure you call the captain and get permits right away. 516-513-8838. This podcast and every other podcast is sponsored by Cardinal Financial, specifically Sal Rizzola. Cardinal Financial, he's the man. Everyone's got to be working with a loan officer to screen their deals. Investors, realtors. Do you have a loan officer that screens every one of your deals?
I do, yeah.
Yeah?
Jason Rivas, Embrace Home Loans. We work close with him.
I don't know Jason Rivas.
Yeah,
But
it's a great guy.
It's good that you have somebody.
I got a deal with Cardinal right now. They're great too. I mean,
need
no
somebody.
complaints. Yeah, yeah.
If you don't have somebody, it's a freaking nightmare. I had 3 deals fall apart in 1 week, 60 days in. Some person lost their down payment. It was a mess.
It stinks.
So we're kicking it off, dude. We're kicking it off with you, by the way. You're popping the cherry of the top 20 under 40 podcast series. Every year I do it. Last year, because of COVID, I had to do it virtually. I'm excited now that it's in close and personal.
Yeah.
Some of your people haven't even looked at my DMs. So
I got it.
If you know of any of them,
I'll tell them to check the DMs. Make sure
I don't think
they
it's
answer
a
the
personal
handsome
thing. I just think nobody looks at that general thing in the back because
Yeah.
it's usually creepy guys or girls.
It's tough. I mean, like, I'll miss DMs too sometimes. They go into that back section, then you got to go. I'm like, oh, shoot. I didn't see that. I'm so sorry. And it's like, I didn't mean anything personal. It goes into that, like.
It happens. That black hole.
The black hole
of DMs.
Yeah. But
So over the next month or two, we're going to basically be parading the top 20 under 40 in here. We're going to find out who they are, what they do, and how they became as great as they are. Because I got to tell you, I don't know if you know this, right? So I've been in the mix for not that long, but long enough to know that I believe, and don't quote me, Beth and Bacchus, if you're out there and this isn't true, I apologize, but I think that this was the most competitive class in history.
really.
So it was the hardest it has ever been, in my opinion, from what I've heard, from a GCI
Yeah.
standpoint. Everybody in there was like a real player. So
That's awesome.
Mazel tov, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. It's been an honor to be selected by the YPN, and I'm looking forward to getting into it today.
So Eric Ramsay Real Estate,
Yes, sir.
3rd generation.
Yeah.
Pedigree, 25 years old.
Yep.
Yeah, you look young as hell. Good head of hair.
Yeah.
Right?
Hopefully I keep it, right?
Paying homage to Grandpa, wearing his tie today
Yeah.
and the vintage Rolex.
Yeah.
He started the entire thing how many years ago?
1974, he started it. He was originally an insurance guy, and then he was good friends with Racanelli's.
Okay. Like Racanelli.
Yeah, Racanelli. So he said, Eric, I'd like, you to be my guy, whatever.
Wow.
So he kind of specialized in finding land. And
what was Racanelli? So that was when Racanelli first started out.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Your grandpa and I guess
Nick Racanelli Sr.
grandfather.
Yeah.
The two grandpas got together.
Yeah, got together.
When they were young.
Yeah.
And basically
And
took up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. So my grandpa would kind of specialize in finding land and then changing the zoning of the land and then doing these big developments like the Admiralty in Bayshore. Then he did Captain's Walk in Bayshore.
Wow.
So instead of, selling like individual houses, but he also did that, but he would, find these projects and get like a bunch of listings at once versus.
So what was Racanelli? So I know Racanelli does construction management. I
Yeah.
did not know that they actually developed for themselves. I don't know if they did at that time and they don't anymore. They still do, and I just don't know.
I'm not really sure honestly how it worked, but I know that he was the guy who kind of got my grandpa into the door, and then
it just went from there.
went from there. Yeah.
So you basically popped out of the room with a for sale sign in your hand. Ready to
Bluetooth, for sale sign,
go. Ready to go.
ready to rock and roll. That's what it was all about.
So I got a couple questions. It's interesting. So it's like you coming into a real estate family, I guess, has like two sides of it, right?
Yeah.
So you can look at it. I guess here's my question before that. So my father owned a Mako.
Okay.
And he's like, yo, I'm going to help you open a Mako. And I was like, I don't want to own a Mako.
Mhm.
And I ended up doing it because fear of regret is the biggest motivator in life. And I'm like, I'll take the opportunity. Let's do it. I didn't like it. I ultimately ended up here. But did you ever feel pressure to go into the business and you didn't want to? Or you just knew that you were going to be in real estate?
No, I never really felt any pressure from my parents. They were kind of always open to me doing whatever. But I mean, I have a great set of parents that are very encouraging, and and it was a great opportunity for me to learn from them. And I figured, why waste time doing something else if I can learn from the best? So
you were always like, I'm going to be a real estate agent.
yeah, I mean, I love working for my parents, and so
No,
I've loved every minute of it, and I have no complaints.
It's a beautiful thing to be able to know at a very young age what you want to do,
Yeah.
because otherwise it's stressful.
No, yeah.
Like I'm 42. I didn't realize kind of what I wanted to do until I was about 30 years old.
And then you just grabbed it by the horns and
ran
with it. Long Island's biggest home buy.
It's been bucking me around.
No, come on.
Bucking every hair off my head for the last 7 years. So let me ask you this. I guess there's two sides to this, right? There's the side of, do you feel that there's added pressure on you to perform because you're in that situation? Do you feel like you got the benefit of a lot of the experience, or is there like a headbutting sometimes because generations are different?
Yeah.
Like my dad and I did business very different, or do business very different.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we would butt heads in that scenario.
Well, I mean, just like learning from, we have a great office, and everybody in our office is great, so I try to take bits and pieces from everybody, and, we've been around for a while. So, like my mom and dad have very different selling styles, where my mom is, keep it moving forward, let's go, and she's the Taminator, that's what we call it. My dad
She's the
is
what?
the Taminator, Tammy. She consistently sells. She'll sell 60, 70 houses a year, no problem.
By herself?
By herself. Yeah, so
Okay.
she crushes it too. She cleans up. And then my dad he's been around forever. He's like almost the mayor of Bay Shore, mayor of the South Shore. So we'll go on a listing appointment, and we're there for like 4 hours, just, this guy, this guy, this guy. So there's never really, it's just kind of taking bits and pieces of, the aggressive side, and then the kind of casual, like, making friends. This guy. And
But then it's like, you also bring your own style into
then,
it.
yeah, and so I have like a nice little hybrid. I feel like when I go on a listing appointment, or I go meet with somebody new, and can kind of,
You have like a very happy calmness about you.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, you're just
just going with the flow.
You're just cool, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm not as cool as the handsome home buyer.
I mean, but I'm a lot more stressed out than you are. Like I'm wound up. You don't seem stressed out unless you're it's a facade.
No. I mean, listen, there's a lot of pressure in real estate. If you don't sell, you're not making any money, and if you're not making any money, you can't pay any of the bills. So I mean,
So
there is pressure, I think, just from the industry outside of the family aspect of it. But.
so you started right out of high school. Boom.
No,
you went to college.
I went to college. Went to University of South Carolina. Did real estate and finance. I graduated 2019.
Got it.
I took the summer, and used to work over at Ocean Beach as a dockmaster. So I tied up the boats in the summer, and then
Nice.
summer was over, and
I recently got I took my boating certificate course this past week.
oh, that's awesome!
That's right.
Congratulations!
Yeah, red return, all that shit.
You
I
got
know
to
it.
come on Tuesdays. I still work over at Hauser's. I tie up the boats. I just took my old.
Yeah.
I hadn't done it the last 3 or 4 years, and then I kind of figured out my way my schedule could work, and so now I took Tuesdays there. It was my first Tuesday back this Tuesday.
Nice.
So it's good gig.
So talk about your interest into real estate. Obviously, you had great mentors. Your parents have been
Yeah.
doing this since for years. What was it like? Because ultimately, I mean, you're really young to be top 20 under 40. You know that, right? You're 25. You're really young. You're a very young guy.
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, I didn't realize that. But.
I mean, you could be my kid in theory, which is a little depressing for me, but just goes to show you, like, you're a very young guy.
No, I mean,
Yeah, 17. I could have a kid at 17.
17, you'd be good to go.
Yeah, I could have.
Be a little senior at Wanto High School.
Yeah. So I want to talk about hadn't you been in the business for
a little over 3, or coming up on 3 years, I guess, 3 or 4 years. Graduated 2019, my 4th year's coming up.
So that's 3 years, right?
Yeah.
3 years is no time.
Yeah.
Is no time to get to the level of being top 20 under 40.
Yeah, I guess not.
So I'm complimenting you.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you, Charles.
You did it very fast.
Yeah, I mean, I just go to work every day,
It's got to be more than that, though.
No, I think the biggest thing is going to the office. If you're not going to the office, then you're not,
So what do you think, mom and dad, each of them, what's the biggest lesson real estate related that each of them taught you?
My dad you go to a restaurant with my dad, and he says hi to everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, you get in the restaurant, it's 25 minutes before you actually sit down at the table. I mean, it's the same with my mom, but not as bad as my dad.
Was that exhausting as a kid?
I like now.
Dad, I just want to eat.
I'm kind of like that now, where my girlfriend will be like, we live in Bay Shore, and she's like, let's go to dinner in Huntington or something like that, so that way we can just sit down and eat, and we don't have to bump into everybody.
Well, we're not famous.
I'm not no. But it's true. I'm like, my friends from college will come visit and be like, what are you, the man? I'm like, no, I just, this is the deli I go to. I know the girls behind the counter. This is my coffee shop. I went to high school with them,
Yeah.
So I mean, just being in the town, saying hi to everybody, and then having a big network, of of a lot, like I live in a town where not a lot of people leave, so I'm friends with like a lot of my friends' older brothers.
I think that's every town on Long Island.
Nobody really leaves.
Everybody who grew up in Wanto is now like back in Wanto, having kids in Wanto, going to the same schools.
You know what? It's great. It's a great area. You got the beaches, you got the restaurants, you got everything. Great summers. I mean, the winters stink a little bit, but
Bayshore has also undergone like a crazy transformation.
Crazy, yeah,
and it's a very like diverse makeup of like houses, buildings, luxury on the water.
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very good market.
No, it's great. I mean, I love the town I live in. I wouldn't live anywhere else. So, I mean, I'm happy.
So what do you think is the number one lesson in real estate that your mother's taught you? So your father basically taught you, be the mayor. Talk to everybody, be out there, be that charismatic guy, which you are. More people that know you, the more listings you get.
Yeah, we're in the business of making friends. That's what my dad, we're in the
100%.
business of making friends. But my mom's more, she's aggressive. Pick up the phone, call the guy. What are you waiting for? Call him up. What is he doing? You know that he's going to move. Why are you not calling him? So you call him up right now. So she's big, like, what are you wasting time for? Call him right now. I'm like, he's probably enjoying himself. Call him right now. He wants to sell his house. What are you waiting for? So,
is your girlfriend in real estate?
My girlfriend is in real estate, yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
It's interesting from a lot of different standpoints. We kind of all, for the most part, become our parents.
Yeah.
Right? At least a hybrid of that.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right?
So do you find that like you like the synergy of dating someone that's in real estate?
Yeah, she didn't get into it. She has another job. She works for this rare jeans company called Global Jeans. And so she's all virtual. And then I was like, you should just get it. You might sell a couple of houses a year and it'd be great cash. And then, if I'm busy or you're busy, I could cover it. And she's been crushing it. She's had it for like 8 months. She sold like 5 or 6 houses. We have a deal together.
That's a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And she has a whole nother job. It was actually the craziest thing ever. So she just got a listing like a month ago. And the guy went through, I don't know how many people's Zillows, but he's like, yeah, like I picked you because you work for a non-for-profit part-time. Like he read, my mom went on the listing appointment with Scarlett, my girlfriend, and he's like, oh, I read your Zillows too, but you had a bad review, so I picked her. And my mom was like, wow, that's crazy. So she got
picked over your mother?
Over my mother because she worked for the Rare Jeans Company.
Wow.
Non-for-profit, yeah. But she's fantastic at what she's been great. She's been crushing it.
Is she thinking about making the transition from?
Right now she doesn't have to because we have such a great, it works, between me, my mom, my dad, Scarlett, and then everybody else in her office. If she has something going on with that, somebody's able to have somebody can cover. Like while everybody's very independent with their own business, we're still super helpful with one another. Like if my mom needs me to cover an open house, I'll cover her open house. If I need my mom to go to an inspection, she can, so it's kind of like,
this that's the cool thing about real estate. It could be whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
It could be as big as you want, it could be as little as you want, it could be best part-time gig, it could be anything.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
No.
So let's talk about the meat and potatoes of which everybody wants to know, because they're like, yo, kid's been in the business for 3 years. Top 25 under 40. He's 25 years old. Yeah, your parents were in it, so you got the training, whatever, but it's still extremely impressive and difficult to get to that level in a short period of time. So the other agents that are listening to this, while they're working out or whatever, how many deals did you do last year?
I think a little more than 30.
Yeah, it's a lot of deals.
Yeah,
so
working.
So when you think about it, you're like, okay, 30, 35 deals, call it 30 deals, let's be conservative. People are like, oh, if you think about the logistics of it, it's like one every week and a half.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot. And it's a lot to manage because at any given time, you probably have between on the market and under contract, 8 houses?
Yeah, 8. I mean, right now I got a lot. Right now I got, I think, 13 under contract, and I got like 6 or 7 listings. So right now I'm like, but this is a lot. That's a lot.
This year's obviously better than last year.
Last year I had a couple big sales. I had a big. It's so crazy. So I mentioned that I used to work over at Ocean Beach. So I used to tap this guy's boat. His name was Chris. So he calls me on Saturday morning. He's like, Eric, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I thought he was calling me, asking me for a boat slip because they would call in the morning. Can you hold the slip? Because it's a very finite, number of slips. But he had a nice boat, really nice guy. And he'd always ask me, when are you going to get into family business? When are you going to get into family business? So he's like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm just hanging out. We're getting ready to go to work. He's like, oh, you in the family business finally? I was like, yeah. He's like, can you show me this house? I'm like, yeah. I look at it up, and I'm like, it's $3 million. I'm like, oh, I'll go show it to you right now. So made the sale on that. That was a big one. That was awesome. But just like weird stuff like that, you know what I mean? But
wow. So, I mean, so here's the thing I'm curious about. What's the strategy? What's the marketing strategy? How do you have like a plan? Are you very regimented on how you bring the deals in, how you bring the opportunities in? Because there's all kinds of people, right?
Yeah.
So I've had you know who Larry Theodore is?
I don't know.
So Larry Theodore is probably like 70.
Okay.
He's the Farmingdale guy.
Mm-hmm.
Crushes it, like $1 million GCI every
Yeah,
year.
crushes things up, yeah.
But he's like extremely regimented. Every year he brings every past client like a little fern.
Yeah.
And every day he comes home, waves to his wife, goes out to his garage. That's like kind of like his man cave office, and he cold calls for 3 hours. You know, Brian Karp door knocks for like 2 hours a day. Like everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
But to do 30, 40 houses a year, it's difficult.
Yeah.
So what's your thing?
You know, my thing is I make friends with everybody. I mean, like we said before, my dad says we're in the business of making friends. So, you know, I'm out and I'm like, I talk to everybody at the bar, I talk to everybody at the restaurant, I talk to everybody at wherever I'm at, and, you know, just try to be super nice, super polite. If somebody says they're looking for something, you know, I take them serious and I send them stuff. And, you know, if it's just them saying something, I'll do it anyway. And then
So
I do open houses, I call the expire, I do a little bit of everything, you know, whatever, you know, is working, I'll stick with that.
7 days a week?
7 days a week. You know, my phone's on 24/7, which is probably a little unhealthy, but it's, you know, it's just how it is. It's just how my parents were. You know, my dad will start the phone at 8 o'clock. Or even earlier, I walked in the house at 6:30 in the morning. He's on the phone. And then I walked in the house at 10 o'clock at night and he's on the phone with the client.
So I like to think, whether this is true or not, I like to say to myself that I got the best of both my parents, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're kind of in that same thing, where it's like you got your dad's, you're sociable like your dad, and you're making friends with everybody.
Yeah.
But you have like the let's get it of your mom.
My mom is also probably more sociable than my
Oh,
dad.
really?
Yeah. But she'll like, let's go. We're sitting down, let's eat.
So let me ask you this, right? Because there's different like methodologies to this.
Yeah.
Some people say, and I actually like this because I think it's the most efficient way to go about doing business, and then agents will fight me on it, which is you want to become the mayor or mayoress of one town.
I agree.
Start right there,
Yeah.
right? Like, and you check out each market to see what's the activity, what's the price point, how many houses are in that market, who's the top agent in that market. So then you have the bar of how many houses do I have to sell in order to beat that person.
Yeah.
And then it kind of expands out from there. It sounds like you do a lot of stuff in Bayshore. Is that kind of your
Yeah, I mean, I went
plan?
to Bayshore High School. My dad went to Bayshore High School. I grew up in the same house that my dad grew up
Oh,
in.
you're deep in there, bro.
Deep, bad. I'm like, my
Deep.
friends from college call me a townie, but I mean, like, I could tell you where your kid's gonna get picked up on the bus. Like, I know who their kindergarten teacher's gonna be. I could tell you the high school teachers. I could tell which teachers you don't want to have, which teachers you do want to have. You know, like.
Are they still? Oh yeah, you're young. You're still
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I graduated 2015. So, but I still, I bumped into one of my teachers on Tuesday at the bar. I was like, well, I was at the work, and then he was at the bar. So, but I was like, oh, Mr. Love, what are you doing? Good to see you, man. So,
Fuck.
but I mean, we do a lot Bayshore, West Islip, East Islip. I'll go anywhere, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I could tell you where the bus picks you up in West Islip too, and probably East Islip. So Islip, I mean,
So is it, you just having roots in that town, speaking to everybody, would you say the majority of your business happens in Bayshore?
I'd say, definitely the South Shore. I mean, as
I'm
a
just
whole.
I'm just curious to know from me, because again, I get a lot of pushback on this from people.
Yeah.
Like, my thing is this: be the best person in one town, right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to get a lot of listings in surrounding areas all over the place, just because word travels, people know people.
People play checkers. They move across town if they like this house and stuff like that.
But like the feedback I've gotten is like, well, then I'm only going to be doing deals in that town, and I don't think that's true. I think you might do 60% of your business in Bayshore, but I think 40% of your business is in other towns.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to, I know everything about Bayshore, West Islip, East Islip, Islip, what restaurants to go. So most of my business happens to be in those areas.
Yeah.
But, like I got a house for sale in Lynbrook right now. So it's
Yeah.
like, I'm kind of, but the person from Lynbrook is moving into Bayshore.
Yeah.
So it's like
Oh, so you doubled it up.
doubled up. Yeah. So I mean, I think that if you could pick an area and you could stick with your area and you know it, I mean, you're like the local tour guide. You're really the people's first introduction to the town. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's really cool for me, like if somebody from, like Wanto, let's say somebody from Wanto finds a house they love in Bayshore and they don't know anybody in the town, and then somebody from, I don't know, Farmingdale moves to Bayshore, and then they're about the same age. I'm like, oh, let's grab dinner. I'll introduce you guys at the same age. Like, that's something that I think is super cool. Like, there's a new restaurant that's open on Main Street, Bayshore. Let's go hit it. So we do stuff like, we'll go out in a boat. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of seeing this, but I'll ask you this question: like, what do you think is every salesperson comes into like their own as what their style is? Right?
Yeah.
What would you say your style as a salesperson is?
I'm not aggressive. I'm more like, I'm here to help you, and let's get it done. If I got to be super aggressive, I'll be super aggressive. If it's somebody that doesn't want to be, if you want to be more laid back, I'll be laid back. I kind of just go off the energy of the other person and, make it happen.
So you kind of become the everybody loves you, almost like tour guide for the area, which is what I think makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, You're not selling necessarily a house first, you're selling the area.
Yeah.
And then people just fall in love with the house. Like, you can't sell a house. Somebody walks into it, it's an emotional experience.
I totally agree, yeah.
It's not like an investment. It's not, it's not a commercial property. They walk in, they fall in love. There's a chemical reaction.
If I'm a buyer's agent, there's nothing I could say to you about the house. If you'd like it, I don't think I could talk you into a house. You know what I mean?
Talk to me about what your listing appointments look like. Somebody calls you, say, hey, listen, do you walk in there and you already have it locked down? Do you, how do you deal with people in regards to what they think a house is going to sell for, which is kind of going to transition to the market and where it's going and your opinion on that, but don't go there yet.
So, I do my binder, create my CMA.
Okay.
Get the CMA ready to go through the CMA, kind of have a number in my head, talk to them, different ways to price the houses. So, if you don't want to move, I'll say what number you want to do. If you want to put it high, we'll put it high. And then if somebody bites, it bites. If you want to put it, you don't want that many people in the house, you want to put it in the middle, we'll put it in the middle. If you want to sell it, let's put it low and we'll sell it and we'll get a million bids on it. I think that the pricing it low, I found, has kind of been the best tactic of getting the most offers.
I do it on my properties.
Yeah, I think that if you're pricing it high, it's going to cost you in the long run. So, I kind of try to push that tactic where, let's price it, a little below the market value. Let's get a million people in here. And we'll get the house bid up and give you guys the terms that you want. And
do you ever get resistance because you're so young?
I don't think so. I really haven't had an encounter yet. If I do, I call in the gray hair. I call my dad. He comes with me. And
I call in the gray hair. Does he still have hair?
Yeah, he's got nice hair. But he used to say the same thing with his dad. He'd be like, when I'd be going on a big listing and I'm in my 20s. Yeah. And they're giving me the resistance that I'm 20. You're 25 years old. Why should I trust you to sell my $1 million house? You call in the gray hair and then come in and then get it. It's a great luxury to have. So I don't. Yeah. But
no, you're very lucky, man.
Yeah.
Actually, listen, I work with my dad every day. Even if we disagree on certain things, it's a blessing to be able to spend that kind of time with your parents.
No, we work. this far away every day.
Yeah, that's got to be very cool.
Yeah, it's
and the fact that your mom's in it too, it's got to be very cool.
Oh, she's awesome. So.
And it also speaks about the quality of your relationship, because some people, married family, like they can't operate like that. They'll kill each other. They need space. But the fact that you guys are literally together 24/7.
Yeah, 24/7.
Is a big deal.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It works out great. We all have a great relationship, and we have a great family business. We're mom and pop shop on Bayshore, and we have the largest market share, Zone 21, which we're very proud of.
Wow.
And then and I think we're like the 8th biggest brokerage in Suffolk County, and we got like 60 agents on Main Street Bayshore.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Wow. So the market's obviously changing.
Yeah.
What's your overall opinion of the market? What's happened? What's going to happen?
Every time I think it's going to slow down, it turns back on. That's what just when I thought it was slowing down, I put a house up, 19 Edwin Street Bayshore, and then I had like 50 showings on it. It was crazy.
How many offers though?
30 offers.
Wow. When was this?
This was like last month, June.
What about the last 2 weeks?
Last 2 weeks?
Because for me, the market now exists in 30-day increments for me, because they're moving rates, right?
No, I got a couple of buyers that I'm working with right now, and
you know, 50 showings.
50 showings,
offers?
crazy. I'll show you the showing.
What was the price?
$450. Yeah. It got bid up pretty good. So I put 2 full price bids on house. I guess in the last 2 weeks with 2 separate buyers, and we lost both the bids. So I think that houses are still going.
Do you think people are getting less aggressive? Do you think it's a certain price point? Do you not see any difference in the market whatsoever?
I think that people are now pricing houses, adjusting to, I guess, post-COVID prices. You know what I'm saying? Like a house that was $399 in 2019 before COVID is now $499. Yeah. But people, you know what I'm saying? So now it's like the actual price.
No, I know. So there was a period of time where anybody with a house was
Put
just
it up.
any bag of dog shit house was getting thrown up on the market at some exorbitant number.
Yeah.
And
no, you can't do that now, I think.
And they were selling. No, those days are over.
Those days are definitely over. I agree with you.
So what I'm seeing is across the board, I've seen a 5% drop in the last 30 days. That's what I've seen. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but people are still definitely coming to see houses. Yeah. What I've noticed is, and this also could be this could be a result of it's summer too.
Yeah, the weather's been so nice. Last summer was so rainy, and then this summer's so nice. It's
yeah, it also depends. Yeah, people were stuck in because of COVID. Yeah. Now they're out. It's also, I'm asking you because I don't do a lot of business in Bayshore, so it's interesting to see how different markets behave.
I think I got house. the Awixa Tile House, we got a contract out on that. That's a big one on the water. I mean, then the
What
lower
was the
end
listing price on that?
1,675. Yeah.
South Bayshore, if you've never been down to South Bayshore, it's awesome.
Beautiful.
Like, awesome.
Yeah, it's really
Multi-million dollar. The whole main strip is great. There's a lot of restaurants there. And it's just crazy because I remember 2008, like peak recession, 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
I remember driving down, is it 27? What is that? The
It's just Main Street. Yeah.
I remember driving down Main Street, vacant.
Yeah, it's boarded up.
Like bad. And I
Yeah,
remember,
yeah.
I wasn't in real estate at the time, and I remember driving by being like, shit, this is not gonna, this is a golden opportunity.
Yeah.
And now you walk down there today,
And there's 50 restaurants.
and it's restaurants,
Yeah.
it's bars, it's young people, there's apartments going
Oh,
up
it's
everywhere.
awesome. I mean, they just put two beautiful buildings up. 11 Maple is great. They got North District Loss just went up. I mean, the building, and then Tritech's putting like a 300-person apartment
Yeah.
where the old Toro College was there. So it's gonna. I mean, it's a huge. It's almost like a mini city now, which some people like, some people don't like. I mean, I think it's cool. I think the buildings are all great. I think the town is going to really prosper from it and
No,
thrive.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you when you have good government in an area that's like pro-development.
Yeah.
They bring business in, they bring money in, they bring opportunity in. And now you as an agent have the ability. You could do rentals, you could do sales,
You do it all.
anything from like luxury to first-time home buyer and
Yeah.
everything in between. It's good.
No, it's awesome. I mean, I think it's a great town. I think the South Shore is beautiful. I think you can't go wrong buying on Long Island. I mean, that's just me. I mean, some people like it, some people don't. But
I take it you're going to stay in Bayshore?
I like Bayshore. Yeah, I'm in the Bayshore Fire Department too, so I can't even leave. I'm 3 years into my.
It's like the mob. That's it. Once you're in,
once you're
there's
in,
no
you're
getting
out.
out.
Yeah. So I can't leave the district, unless I leave the fire department. But good
So
time.
I want to close out. Curious to know a lot of agents going to listen to this that are in the under 40 range.
Yeah.
They want to be top 20 under 40. It's a prestigious thing. People are striving for it. What's your advice to somebody who's looking to be where you are?
As simple as it is to say, I think you just got to go to work, go to the office. Wake up, do your thing in the morning, go to the gym if that's what you do, or and then go to the office and start getting it going. And if you're not going to the office and you're not doing the things you need to do, it's not going to work. Do your open houses on Sundays, do your open houses on Saturdays. Unfortunately, your weekends, it's not a 9-to-5 job. You got to be willing to answer the phone at 7 o'clock at night. You got to be willing to answer the phone at 7:30 in the morning. You got to be willing to show houses. This Sunday it's going to be beautiful. This Saturday it's going to be beautiful. I'm doing open houses and I'm showing buyers houses. It's not if you're not willing to do that, then it's not. I don't think it's going to work out for you.
And I think the two biggest lessons for this is mom and dad. A, make friends with everybody.
Yeah.
B, always be aggressive.
Yeah, always be closing, right? ABC.
Appreciate it, man.
So
Thank you very much.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
it's
you
a
so
big
much.
deal. Top
Yeah,
20 under 40.
No, it's awesome.
Obviously, I'm the
Very
handsome home buyer. You have a house that smells like Cappy, dated. You know the drill. I want to buy it. 516-777 sold. If you need a loan officer, Sal Rizzola from Cardinal Financial is the only guy you got to go with. Appreciate you guys watching. Start of the top 20 under 40. Many more to come. That's a wrap.
Charles, it's awesome, man.
Good, man.
Thank you so
Hope
much.
you liked it.
Yeah, it's a great time.